Morning, you guys. Happy Hump Day, Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well today, this morning. I hope you slept well last night, of course. Right? Whew. Happy Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Happy Hump Day. So guys, it is currently 6:40 something. Y'all know I like to try to sit down here and start talking to y'all about 6:30. Yeah, 6:45. But I overslept. I'm not gonna lie. I was up off and on throughout the night as always. But it's crazy, when I got up this morning to relieve my bladder, I was like, okay, I'm finna lay back down. But something told me, look at the time first. Check and see what time it is first, right? I checked the time. It said it's 6:30 something already. I'm like, whoa. No, it was, sorry, correction. It was 6:24. I'm like, what? Yeah, I hear Jeremiah pulling up. It was 6:24. I'm like, whoa. And to think I was going to lay back down. And when I saw that it was 6:24, I'm not going to lie, part of me was like, maybe I should lay down to 6:30. No, but I'm glad I just got on up and got myself together. I don't have to go anywhere, so I'm okay to stay in my, gown. We do have a huddle later. I'm hoping the young lady who has to do certain slides, I'm hoping she'll come today so I won't have to. I do have some slides I have to do though. I don't want to do, but I'm going to because it is my job. Whatever I'm told to do, I'm going to do it. So yeah, that's that. But I'm trying so hard in the morning to really get as many enrollments done without making any mistakes. Yesterday when I logged in, I got an email. Sometimes they'll send you like an email of any mistakes you may have made so that you'll be mindful of them, blah, blah, blah. And so I got an email for February 13th, and I made quite a few. And I hate that. And so I make sure to be more alert and pay more attention, but try to move quickly at the same time. And it's hard to really get to the goal you want to if you have to keep stopping for meetings and things, and there is not, one meeting was an hour, another one was a half an hour, you ready to go meet Jeremiah? You hear him pull up. Okay, come on. There you go. Going out? No? Okay. Make up your mind, cat. Huh? Right. Sure, he'll be back scratching at the door later. Yeah, he was getting on my nerves again too. Yesterday, man, I dropped my emery board and this nut just running amok, playing with it, running around. He picked it up, moved it. I didn't even know he did that till I got up to go to the bathroom, and it was sitting in front of the door instead of over here by the bed where I dropped it. I'm like, oh, this cat just be tearing stuff up, man. Just be tearing stuff. He was all in my blinds again. I was like, get out! Oh, he's something else. And the minute he can't wait till I move, because then he could jump up real quick in my spot and lay there and sit there and look at me like, ha, you moved. But it's just so funny because in all of that, he just craves so much attention. It's crazy. But I did get up this morning, guys, do a few dishes. Got my coffee. I went to the dollar store yesterday after I donated. I just got a few things. That's it. Cleaned the inside of my car out. Got gas. Forgot to get creamer. Forgot to get everything that I need for me. So honestly, the last of the last is what I'm drinking now. I got plenty of coffee, but whipped cream, sugar if needed, creamer, none of that. Not bad. The coffee is good, so it helps. I'm using the last of the whipped cream now. I think it's like a little bit, tiny bit left. I put a little powdered sugar in there and the last of the creamer, which wasn't a lot, but enough so that I'm not drinking black coffee, which I probably need to learn to drink because it's better than the way I drink it. But nah, if I have to, I have to, but I'm not trying to. So maybe tomorrow I'll end up drinking it that way because I really have no intentions on going back out. Oh wait, I do have to go out to pay the rent today, I think. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But y'all, let me tell you. Y'all probably already heard about it and everything else because I'm always late. I was laying there yesterday and I was flicking through YouTube because I was like, let me just find something to watch while I eat my food, and then I'm laying down because I was tired. I'm tired now. My eyes are burning really bad because I put the creamer on my face and I had to put it up here, but up here is very irritated for me constantly rubbing, and I've been rubbing all night, so obviously it's irritated. And so because it's irritated, when I put that cream on, when I tell y'all, my eyes was on fire. And I'm just looking down thinking, speaking of cream, I'm trying to figure out where my eye drops. Oh, this cat. He knocked stuff on the floor, and I'm thinking my eye drops, it could be anywhere, doggone it. So I have to look for those because I have to put them in my eyes. But this is me today. Right? You can see they look reddish, purplish, right? And they're tired. My eyes are tired. Like, a lot of coughing. But again, a lot of times I just can't take the pills until after work because it'll put me to sleep. I do take the Excedrin throughout the day, however, off and on, because coughing so hard sometimes gives you a headache. But it's not as bad as it was. And I had to use my inhaler once this morning. Back to what I was saying really quick. So I was flicking through and I saw a title say, and I was squinting too. I was having a hard time seeing. And it said, what is it? WTF did I marry? And it was this young lady. I clicked on it because I was curious. And she started off by explaining, she's on TikTok. She says that you get to record, every 10 minutes or something. So quite naturally, her story that she's going to tell or share with us, she has to do it in part 1, part 2, part 3, because she only has so long with her TikTok. I understood that. What I didn't like, but I did appreciate, I understood why she did it, is she was explaining some things, but I hate when you take a long time to explain something, and I do it too sometimes. It's annoying. But so she was doing that. I was like, okay, come on, story. And she was talking about how she had met this gentleman on a dating site, if I remember correctly. One of the dating sites that she mentioned, I scrolled through it a long time ago, years ago. I was like, I'm familiar with that one. I was on that one. Some people, and I've heard a lot of stories of some people on that same site found, hooked up with some really good people. So again, it's a chance you take, really, right? It's a chance you take. So anyway, she said she had met this guy. They began to have conversation, and she said what she didn't know was she had met him on 2 different sites under 2 different names. She didn't know that. Okay, so for example, if his name is Matthew, on one site his name was Matthew, which would be his real name. On the other site, his name was Matt. Okay, and so she met him on the site where his name was Matt, which was not his, government name. It was a nickname. How we do. And so, so they talked for a couple of days, I think it was, maybe a week, and then they decided to meet up. Now, it was crazy. Well, it wasn't crazy. They decided to meet up. He stayed about 40-something minutes away from where they were going to go and eat. She had invited. He asked her out finally, and so he actually, what's one of your favorite restaurants? And she told him, and so that's where they were going to meet at. And they were going to meet at one where it's mutual distance, right? So that he wouldn't have to go, so far. She wouldn't have to go so far. They could kind of meet in the middle, and the restaurant being the middle. So the first time they talked, she said, they had a long conversation. It was a great conversation. And in that first conversation, he actually revealed a great deal to her. And what she thought was weird, wow, here it is, a guy that talks more than me, that's actually sharing information, that probably should have been a red flag. But yeah, he actually, shared quite a bit. He had told her that he was married, and that they were divorced because he had called her cheating on him. He didn't really go into detail about it, but just that, he had called her cheating on him. She has 2 kids from a previous marriage. They were older, I think 17 and something, but he really loved the kids. They loved him, and he wanted to remain a part of their lives because their biological dads were not there. So even though him and their mom was divorced, he still, it was okay for them to stay. He still did fatherly duties. They called when they needed or they had advice. He still sent them things, gave them money, spent time with them. Things a good dad would do. And so, the day of the meetup, now mind you, she said that they started talking on, let's say, the 3rd of February. The 7th of February was their first date. And so on her way to the date, her car tire blew out. And so she called him, let him know, the situation. She said for a moment he got quiet, and then he was like, well, where are you exactly right now? Ping me your location. And she did, and she said he came. He met her there, changed the tire, right? Then looked up, took the time to look up a place to say, you cannot drive on this donut. There's a tire place right around the corner, basically. I looked it up. You need to get that tire changed. So he followed her to the tire place and paid for the tire. She was like, wow. And then followed her to the restaurant. She said they had a great time at the restaurant. The conversation was great. Just everything was great. After the restaurant, she said they sat in the car for like hours and just talk. They just chopped it up before she proceeded to go home. And so after that, they were talking quite a lot on the phone and things. I think for maybe a month or so, maybe more. But then COVID hit, and the everything was being shut down, and so now they're left with thinking, well, now that we have to be locked up and everything, basically because of COVID, where are we going to be locked up at? At your house or my house? My thing is, why did you have to choose any house? You didn't, you don't know how long COVID is going to be, number one. Number two, you could have been locked up in your place, he could have been locked up in his, and y'all could have continued having the conversations over the phone. No one said we couldn't talk, you couldn't talk on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't have to you know, you didn't have to. You just didn't have to. You could have stayed locked up where you was. He could have stayed where he was. Y'all could continue to communicate by phone. Now, if you did decide to come out and meet, there was an understanding that people couldn't go out, like when you necessarily absolutely had to. All right, so if you absolutely needed to go out, get in your car and you go to her house and hang out. Or she get in her car, she come to your house and hang out. Do it that way. You didn't have to move in with one another. Him with you or you with him. You just didn't have to. But that was a choice, that decision that was made. She decided her place because she already had a nice place, whereas he was like in this like studio. It wasn't that great, but because of his job, they were working on getting him a place. You know, he had transferred to where he was. They were supposed to put him up in a place, but they were running behind, and so where he was temporary. This is how she understood it. He had showed her the emails, things like that, his conversations that he was having with the job. So, you know, he was constantly showing her things and providing receipts, you know, so she had no reason to not believe it, right? That just never crossed her mind. So
all right, man, I'm gonna hit the ropes.
All right, be careful, Lavelle. Be careful. Pray. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Pray. So what was I saying? So now he's staying with her. He's paying all the bills, all the household bills. Only thing she's paying is her car note. Who wouldn't love that? Here this man came and was paying everything, and she was living pretty much. She had a nice place, but she's going check to check to check. He paid the rent. He's just paying everything. She didn't have to do anything money wise other than pay her car note. And so that's putting more money in her pocket. 1, 2, they had already communicated about, you know, we're dating. They're not just looking to be dating. They're dating to get married. They both were on that same page: marriage, family, home, And his job had approved him for a $70,000, something like that, mortgage. That he just had to find a home, and they would help. But again, the person that was supposed to help was not available at the time, and so she ended up pregnant, right? She said she was concerned because she's an overweight person, so she knew in her mind that she was going to probably have a difficult pregnancy. And she was a bit stressed, so she knew she didn't want to have bring a baby where they were. Not that it was a bad area, it just wasn't the area she would have preferred. So they went ahead and started. He was like, well, let's start looking for a home. And so he found a couple of places. One in particular she really liked, so he was like, let's put a bid in for it. Let's check it out or whatever. Now, because of COVID, there was everything was virtual. So the tours were virtual, so on and so forth. So they did a virtual tour of the place a couple of times. They decided to go ahead and put a bid in. And like he was handling everything. Now, the guy, the mortgage guy or whatever, the real estate agent, was calling her a couple of times because he couldn't get through to him, or I don't know, maybe the conversation wasn't 100%. And so she was like, I don't know, I'll reach out to him in regards to that, And so when she would talk to him, she said he would be like, well, why is he calling you? I'm the one handling everything, and She's like, I don't know. She was really, like she said, she was very ignorant in that because he was handling everything. She was okay with that. It's not often you get somebody come in and they handle everything. So they put a bid in, and like this was just going on and on and on and on. 2 months go by, still nothing. And so the place had to be inspected. Now they waiting on that. Like, it was a lot. And when he was talking to her, he said, I put a bid in. He said, but I didn't use that agent. I went through my friend so he could get the commission. She was like, oh, okay. So, long story short, she just was waiting and waiting and wondering. She said they had gone shopping for appliances because it didn't come with appliances, and she said she was there. They're together. He put down all this like $500 on the appliances that they bought to have them held there until they moved. And they said, yeah, we have a place here where we'll hold it for you, and then when you're ready to move, you tell us where to go and we'll deliver it. And so she stand there. He didn't cost up all this money to do this, and then he told her to go online and find the furniture that she wanted, all of that, right? So she excited and everything. She hate the move, packing and all of that, but she's getting pretty excited, but at the same time pretty stressed because it was just going on forever and ever and ever. She's like never bought a home before, so she wasn't 100% about the process. So one day she's driving and she's like she was doing something and she's like, let me just look and see what's going on with the place. And she saw that it said that it was off market or something, under contract, something like that. And she wasn't 100% sure what that means, so she asked him, and that means it's no one else can buy it right now because we're in the process of doing it. He's like, what, you didn't believe me? And she was like, no, I was just asking, I was going through, I wanted to look at it again, da da da. Okay. Later, again, months later, still nothing. And she ended up, what ended up happening is she said she looked again and it said it was off market. She's like, well, what does it mean it's off market? Did we buy it? So she called and she talked to someone. She said, hey, my husband and I, they weren't married at the time, but that's how she started. My husband and I saw this place and we really wanted to look at it. It's beautiful, da da da. And the lady told her, well, it's off market. It's been sold as of yesterday. She was like, oh, wow. I mean, like, we really liked it. And da 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 da. She said they continued to have a conversation. And then she said, well, can you tell me who bought it? And it was an older white couple. And she was like, wow. And he hadn't mentioned anything to her about it. So she was wondering if he was going to tell her the truth about it, right? So, because he hadn't mentioned nothing. So she went home and I forget what she said about the house. I forget what story he came up with that made sense to her. Like, she was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Sorry, guys. I don't know if it was something along the lines that they were trying to change it up. They wanted more money or something, I forget. But it made sense to her why he was basically, I ended up backing out. This was yesterday, da-da-da. So he had a story, right? She had no reason to not believe it, right? Especially when she's sitting there, she's seeing him put down money and do this and do that. He showed her his bank account, checking account, da-da-da, right? Long story short, she ended up having a miscarriage. She went through a lot there. So I basically listened to everything until she got to episode 30 something, and this is where it pretty much hit the fan when she said when she met him, he was like a 3+. He was a big guy because he claimed he played football and all of this stuff. And she said now he's one, like maybe a 2X or something, because he had gotten sick. He claims it was his knee. He had a knee injury, right? And she was like, it's something more than just your knee, bro. You losing weight like crazy. He wasn't even eating. All he was doing was drinking like Powerades. And she was like, there's something else going on. She's like, matter of fact, when you make your next doctor's appointment, because at this point they married, when you make your next doctor's appointment, I want to be there. He was like, sure, no problem. Prior to this, I skipped out on a lot. Like, he had told her about buying a car. It was just a whole bunch of stuff, going on vacation. It was like he was saying things and doing things to get her excited just to watch her be disappointed. It was like he got off on that. And she started to realize that. And she started to realize when she no longer showed emotion about it, it was completely left alone, never talked about again, right? So it was just so much going on, even about his job. He coming home one day and told her about, the company car, BMW, that he got is behind this building over here. She was like, well, let's go see the job. He taking her on the way there, and then he decided to call security and make sure the building is open. All of a sudden, there's nobody available. It's always something. And that's when she has finally decided. She was like, "There's always something," and so she started doing like daily vlogs where she was talking to herself. She was recording herself, her thoughts, her this, her that, on a daily basis. She said she don't know what made her do it, but she just started to do it. She said they were constantly going through real estate agents, just looking at house, looking at, and getting all excited and putting in bids and this, that, and the other. Always something happened. Always something fell through. One house, she said they were trying to get. All they told him was, we need proof, because he wanted to put a cash bid in, and they were like, that's fine, but we just want to make sure. They need proof of your income statement you need to show, so that they know that you are able to back up what you're saying. He refused to do it. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that until they accept the offer. They were like, no, you need to do that before they accept the offer. And she was like, what's the big deal? You got the money, just do it. He was like, no, because I don't want to be scammed and anything, which makes sense to some extent. But if that's what the procedures, what's required, that's what you're supposed to do. Obviously that didn't go through, and that's happened multiple times. She was like, you know what, I'm over it. I don't even want to look at a house right now. I'm over it. We'll wait till January. It's the holiday season, COVID, we can't go nowhere. I'm not going to be around my family. I don't even think about the house right now. Long story short, where I left off at, and I fell asleep, I'm definitely looking back up, because I want to know what happened. He had gotten really sick to the point he wasn't going to work. He was working for this big company. All of a sudden, he decided to go to a smaller company, all kind of stuff. And he pretty much, they weren't even sleeping together at this point. He was in the guest room, and she decided, we need counseling, marital counseling, which was crazy. She was like, because even the preacher was like, the pastor and his wife were like, that's kind of concerning. You guys been freshly married maybe a few months and already counseling, because she had gone through his phone, which she said she normally doesn't do. He was so open, with passcodes and everything. Just one time he was in the shower and a message popped up and it caught her attention, and it's because of that she went to look, and he was doing things that were not appropriate. And so that's when she started to kind of go off, and he was like, no, nothing happened, which in reading the message you can tell nothing happened from what she's read so far. And he was like, no, I was just doing this, it was just stupid, blah 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 blah. So they decided to go to counseling. He was like, I love you, and all this stuff. And so she, at one point, it was just a whole lot that he was doing, and it was starting to become more obvious and revealed as she was digging deeper into things. He had been divorced previously, so she decided to look up his grandmother's name. She decided to try to get more information, and she did. And she come to find out, she was able to find out the name of. She looked at the divorce or something. She got his name, real name, whatever. She looked up the divorce information because he had 2 wives at one point. And she got the name, and she called her. And the lady was like, well, who are you? And then she was like, listen. She was like, if you calling me, it must be bad. She was like, I don't want nothing to do with this, that, and the other. But the lady was nice enough to have a conversation with her. She said, I just have a few questions. Come to find out, she said, he's a liar. She says, nothing that man says is true. So she asked her toward the end of the conversation. She said, may I ask how your daughter's doing? She didn't want to say. She just thought, let me ask how the daughter was doing. She was like, she's fine. Why? She said, no, I was just checking. He said, with COVID and everything, he was saying that she was having a hard time, blah, blah. But in actuality, what he told her was that the daughter died. She didn't want to say that in case it was not true. You don't want to say things like that. Come to find out the girl is fine, right? She found out that his grandmother did die, but she died in 2008. He claims she died in 2020 due to COVID. 2022, whatever that was, that COVID period. That was a lie. Same thing with his uncle. Died because of COVID. That was a lie. He had died back in 2015. You know, it was just craziness. He was taking her to the grave. Did I ever show you where my grandmother's and my grandfather's buried? Blah, 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 the plaque. So he took her there, and it turns out, she found out later, it was just somebody with the same last name. That wasn't even his people. And the only reason why he knew about it was because he used to work there. So there was a lot going on. She finally got fed up. She never told him about speaking to the ex-wife. And the ex-wife said, don't put me in nothing. Don't mention my name. Da, 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 da. And she was like, I wouldn't do that to you. And so she went, you know, she dug up a lot. And she just sat down on the bed and she asked him, listen, you never went to da, 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 da. He got a little frustrated, went off a bit. And she's like, I'm talking to you calm. You talk to me calm. Slow down. Slow your roll. Da, da, da. Anyway, eventually what she told him was, you have to leave. He said, so what you said, you want a divorce? She was like, yes. And he was like, no, I'm not going to divorce you. He was like, you're supposed to fight for things. She was like, I don't want to fight for it. It's not worth fighting for. I'm over it. I'm done. He gets on the phone talking to his auntie, and he just would say stuff that had hurt, that just pissed her off. You know, like, she just went off. Oh, here we go again with this. I should have checked. Anyway, y'all, it was a long story, and I just wanted to finally hear the end of it. She had ended up putting him out. He went to his cousin's house, and she found out so much. He went to his cousin's house and told them that she had an affair and with a police officer who pulled out his gun to make him leave the home. It was just a lot of. She's like, what? Like, wow. I really want to. Come on now. I really want to finish the rest of that. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Please enjoy your hump day morning. Remember to say your prayers. Remember to treat people the way the Lord would. Y'all, and expect great things to happen today to you, through you, and for you. I'm expecting great things. Nice. I'm expecting great things. And I'm expecting great things, not just to happen to me, through me, and for me, but for all my brothers and sisters in Christ. Not just for my family, my immediate family, not just for my children, but for all my brothers and sisters in Christ. I am expecting, you guys, great things. And I hope you guys do the same. I really do. Anyway, I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Bye. Alright, y'all. It's my first break. It's almost over. Oh, it is busy. I found my drops and I just put them in. I look so crazy. I really do. But whatever, it is what it is. Just really quick, because the computer about to die and everything. So what I was telling y'all earlier, so the young lady, she had, after she had did all her digging and everything, she went in the room and she sat on the edge of the bed. She said, can we talk? And he was like, sure. And so she asked him, you know, so you never really went to such and such, and you never really did it. And he started to get irritated. Yes, I did. I showed you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no. She said, actually, she said, you was from da, 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 da. And so when she listed those places, he started to get pissed off and was like, you know, kind of, you know, fussing at her or whatever. But he was telling her he's not getting divorced. Like, I'm gonna fight for this marriage and blah blah blah. And so she ended up on the phone talking to her mom. And no, actually what happened was she told him he had to go. So he ended up calling his aunt and was telling her what was going on. And he was like, she's trying to put me out, and talking about I lied. I never lied to her. And it was when he said that she just broke, because she was like, you never lied, and she just swelled up. And she still never told him everything that she had found out, or that she had spoke to his ex-wife and all of this stuff. And she promised the ex-wife that she wouldn't say, divulge that information, but she did talk to another one. And so anyway, she did find out more about another one as well. Anyway, she just went off. She said the rage just built up in her, and like she was looking around the room like she knew she could take that man's life, given the state that he was in at that time and point, and given the state that she was in, being so angry, she was about to hurt him. And so she had called her mom, and her mom said, let me speak to him, because her mom was in very far away. And the mom got on the phone with him and was like, I would suggest you get out of that house. I'm telling you, you should get out of that house, right? Get your stuff and just go. So she said he got up and he was limping, and it was then when he got up, she saw even more so how much weight he had lost. And then she said she looked, and she was like looking around. She see these little bottles, because she said he was drinking a Powerade or Aid, whatever you call it, like crazy. He wasn't getting up and going to the bathroom. He was peeing in the bottles. She was like, is that piss? He was like, I'll get it. I got it. I just couldn't get up. Da da da. So he got garbage bags. He put it in, so she didn't have to deal with that. But she was like, you better hurry up and go. Like, she was just like, oh my God, this is, what the hell? And I kind of understand exactly where she coming from right there, because I've been through something similar where you got somebody grown laying up in your house, pissing in bottles and whatnot, just dumb stuff. Like, I don't know. I get it. Sometimes people are in pain and this, that, and the other, but communicate something, But I felt her on that frustration when she saw that. I was right with it, because I've been there on that. I have been there. You go in your room in your house, and it's just nasty and filthy from you allowing someone to stay there and rest their head, and they just, and it just never dawned on her any of this, because when she met, like, this dude is clean and sharp and da-da-da-da, right? And it's like he just, my first thought when she was talking about it was, I'm thinking, oh my God, does he have AIDS? This is what I'm thinking. Whether this is the case or not, I don't know, because I fell asleep, so I never did. I don't know what happened yet. I'm looking forward to finding out more, because it really is interesting. And it, it's a lesson learned. And the fact that she's able to talk about it is a good thing. Some people don't come out of these situations, without having to really fight. And whether that was the case or not, I don't know. I have to finish watching it. But yeah, she started throwing stuff. She's like, you better go. She was in his face because he tried to get snippy with her. She was like, no, you leaving. So she said he did leave. He went to his aunt's house. He ended up driving all the way to her house, and she lived a good ways. It's time for me to sign back in, y'all. So I have to come back to y'all on my my lunch break. All right, you guys. Good evening. It's 6:23 p.m. Wednesday, hump day. I got off work at 4. Paid my rent. Tried to renew the lease online like normal, but wasn't able to do it. The guy said, yeah, you're eligible. So he said, if it's not going to let you do it online, just, set up an appointment to come in. So I set up an appointment for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to have to call in to work, let you know what's going on. And maybe start work a little bit later tomorrow. I'm not gonna take the whole day off. I just start later. Because tomorrow's Thursday, I do have to donate tomorrow. I just got back from the grocery store, so with the little what money I did have left, y'all, I went and spent the whole thing at the grocery store. Didn't get a whole lot of stuff, but definitely stuff that we needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these dishes washed, letting the water get hot really quick. And while the water's getting hot, I'll go ahead and do like a haul for you guys to show y'all what I got. I wanted to video, but y'all, was too much going on. I didn't even want to be out. I was dragging my feet, just whatever. So I just got 3 bags. You guys. I was hoping Miguel would have been here, but he wasn't, to bring it up, but Jeremiah was here, so. Okay, so let me show y'all what I got. Forgive me, you did forgive me. As always, I got some barbecue chips. I don't know why they do this. I don't even know who did this. Like, this is Jeremiah. Empty it, put it in the garbage, open it, put it in the garbage. Really simple. Bill took the garbage out earlier, so, but now it's full again. I gotta give me a vacuum cleaner, y'all. I'm going to buy me invest in a vacuum cleaner. I don't have a dog anymore, my precious Shane, so, you know, it shouldn't, I should be able to hold on to a vacuum, you know. The one I bought when I first moved in here, I don't know why that didn't last long. Just didn't have no pets. I don't know. Anyway, barbecue chips. I'll go ahead and pour this down so I can put it in here. Y'all know I still haven't made this banana nut yet. But I will. I got the regular wavy chips. Carton of eggs. One big carton of eggs. Creamer, they didn't have the vanilla, so I got walnut. Turkey breast. So the stuff that I pulled out that go in the refrigerator, y'all, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the refrigerator, so just be patient with me. Y'all probably wonder why it took so long. Well, because I like stuff to be organized a certain way. Hot dog bun, loaf of bread, Like we go through bread. If you think about it, if it's easier and quicker to just make a sandwich for work, or when you're sitting around the house, you're gonna go through bread quicker. Okay, and then I got 2 sodas. All my bags I put back in the car, and my sister's bag, so that when I go to church on Sunday, hopefully, I'll be able to put, hopefully, when I go to church on Sunday, I'll be able to give her her bags. This is the second bag from all these. I'm going to go ahead and quickly put the soda in the freezer. Alright, y'all. Whipped cream. Hot sauce. Another pack of turkey. Medium cheddar. Sharp cheddar. Butter. Okay. Box of mashed potatoes. Box of fruit rounds. Imitation fruit loops. Marshmallow. Cereal. And the cereal and the mashed potatoes, guys, I'm just going to put on top of the refrigerator. So it can be easily seen. Half gallon of milk. Mac and cheese. Should got a little bit more flour. Y'all better believe me, I have such a migraine. Barbecue sauce, pack of hot dogs. Now those are my Aldi's. That's from Aldi. I'm looking at my living room. It needs to be swept, and because it does, it looks like it's not clean to me. Alright, so from Cermak, it looks like Mexican meat store. I got some more of the boneless pork chops. $3.95, about 1 pack. They slid 2 packs. 3 packs. And then I picked up some boneless skinless chicken thighs. I got 3 packs of those. 3 packs. And they're like $3 each, two something. So round it off, like $3 each. Alright. Whew, y'all, it's so hot as hell. I have so much radiator on. It's just too hot for me. Oh, Jesus. I feel sick. It's so hot. Oh, I'm trying to debate on what I want to make for dinner right quick. I don't really feel like doing much of nothing. I'm just going to be straight up honest. There's a beef patty in here left. And there's a, what is this? Hot pot. So I think what I'm gonna do is make myself the the beef patty. These chops. Oh, it's hot. I'll put it in the refrigerator, 2 packs in the refrigerator and cook it tomorrow. Everything else will go in the freezer. I just don't feel like it. Okay. Go ahead and put this. And I probably should take it out the pack and go ahead and marinate it. But I honestly just don't even feel like doing it, y'all. I don't even feel like doing that. It's hot. And I don't feel like washing the dishes. Part of me is saying, no, just do it tomorrow. Just get up a little bit early, do it in the morning. You can do it. Yes. But then the other part of me says, well, if you can do that, you can just go and get done tonight. So, I'm just going to get done tonight. Not that much. So hope you guys had a good day today. I didn't really eat anything too much. That's why I'm feeling a little sick. I just wasn't too hungry today. I just fixed myself a sandwich, right? Put some cheese. I'm sorry, y'all. I know getting cheese. You know what? I think what I might do is just leave these two here and just get up and do it later tonight. That's what I'll do. When I feel a little bit better, that's what I'm going to do. But see, I gotta heat up my food anyway, so while my food is heating, I can go and knock the dishes out. You know what? Just do it. Do it. Don't put that in there. Put it on 3. Hopefully it will not start shortage or anything. Shortening out or whatever have you pronounce it, I'm sorry. So, while I'm washing the dishes, let me tell y'all. So remember I was telling you about the young lady who I was listening to her last night. So I ended up, while I was sitting there working, I was finna listen to Kirk Franklin, and then I came across her video. So it was part 30 something through 50, and it was supposed to be the end of it. She said to herself this is it because she was just over it. But she ended up doing, I think, 2 or 3 more because she's like, it's not fair, to people that have been hanging in with her and listening. She's gonna go ahead and finish it out. Woo! I made the water a bit too hot, y'all. Bit too hot. So, and like I said, I don't know, y'all, I guess many people have already seen this video and so on and so forth. It may be the one similar to what my mom was telling me about too, a long time ago. I don't know if it's the same video or not. But to pick up from where I left off when I was talking to you guys about it, she was saying how, she had put him out, right? She was over it. She was like, you gotta go. And so what he did was he ended up going to his aunt's house. And, well, that's what she thought he was going to the aunt's house. But what he ended up doing was going to his sister's house. Now, was it his sister or his cousin? It was his cousin, my bad, because he doesn't have any sisters, my bad. So here's the thing. What he did was he went to his cousin's house. And so the cousin started to look her up on Facebook. Reaching out to her, can you please give me a call, all this stuff. I would love to talk to you. And so she did. She went ahead and she, gave her a call. And I think this was a couple of days later. It wasn't the same day for sure. I think it was a couple of days maybe, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry if I don't, but I'm sure you guys will go and listen to it, pull it yourself. But yeah, so the cousin reached out to her And so she called, and she said that was her first time ever speaking with this young lady. Didn't even know she existed. But she called her, she spoke with her, and she said, I don't mean any harm or anything like that. She said, sister, I just want to know what's going on. She said, because, and so not to say nobody's names, what she called him was Legion. And I thought that was so befitting. That was so befitting. Because demons, legions, they come in many. When they possess somebody, a lot of times it's a legion. They come in many. It's not just one possessing you. Or, that person, sorry. And because this man was such a pathological liar in the things that he was doing, that's the name she gave him for the sake of the story. Legion. Legion. So the cousin was like, yeah, Legion's here. He's saying that you put him out, you kicked him out. He said he caught you cheating on him. So you kicked him out, and the guy that you was cheating on him with was an officer. And so the officer pulled his gun out, his duty weapon out, on him, and threatened to, use it on him, and that's how you guys were able to get him out, put him out the house. And she was like, what? She's like, that's not what happened. And so she said, she continued to say he wanted us all to get together, the family, and to call the police station and make a report, a complaint, so that this guy could lose his job. Show y'all how many dishes how little dishes I had. I'm done already. It was just 1, 2, 3 plates, as you can see. I'm drying them. I'm keeping one to, for my food, but 3 plates. Oh, it's so hot. Okay. 1, 2 spoons, 1 fork. This little bowl that I had a dollar store frozen meal in, which was pretty good. Matter of fact, I'll probably put my food in that. I won't use this plate because it's just a beef patty, and then I'll put a few chips in there. I should have got some more pickles. Dang it, wasn't thinking. And see, I gotta come back in here later anyway, like I said, because probably fix Jeremiah something and asleep for work. And I'll just make him, I think, a turkey and cheese sandwich. I'll make 2 and some chips. That's it, you guys. I'm done already. That's it. So, that's what he wanted them to do, call, complain, blah, 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 so dude can lose his job, get fired, whatever. And so they can start an investigation, which would get her in trouble as well. And so she was like, she's like, that's not what happened. She said, I don't even know who he talking about. Now, one of the reasons when she was telling her story, she kept saying, keep this in mind, that he was like, oh, so you work, because she worked at the time for, what was it, the toll or patrol or something it was, and he thought that was like, oh, wow, but anyway, he obviously with the intentions to maybe having to use it against her later. So what he did, she was like, no, that's not true, blah, blah. And so the cousin was like, you know what? She says, listen, we know he lies. He's been lying since he was a kid. She says, I'm aware of this. She said, this is why I reached out to you to communicate with you first so that I can find out what's really going on. So here's my beef, you guys. She said, that's why I'm reaching out to you, so we can see what the case really is, right? 1 second. That dog always forever barking, just about. I almost don't want this soda because I know it's not cold yet, but I got ice. So it's all good. And I'm gonna go and get a bigger cup because I need some acid. So yeah, they were like, she was like, this is why I'm reaching out to you. You know, what really is going on. So she explained to the cousin what really, you know, went down. And she was like, wow. She was like, well, he was on the phone with the aunt. She know what happened. And the girl was like, aunt? What aunt? He was like, with his aunt. She said, what's the aunt? And she said the lady's name. And she was like, that's not his aunt. No, wait. Sorry, guys. Hold on. That's not what happened. Dang, I'm getting ice everywhere. This is a little harder than normal because I ended up, the last time I used it, I filled it back up, and it's the way I filled it up. It's causing it to be a lot harder to crack, bust open today. But I got it, and I'm not gonna fill it back up. I'm just gonna leave it in here like this so you can always, you know, go and grab something as opposed to letting it freeze back over like what just happened. Okay. So she told him, she said, no, that's not what happened. She explained to the young lady what really did actually happen. And she was like, wow. So she said they got to talking a little bit more. And they got on the subject of his brothers and sisters. And the young lady said, how many brothers do you think he have? Because she kept saying his brothers. And she was like, he has an older brother, a younger brother with the same mom and dad. And then he has two other brothers by a different woman with his dad. And then he has two sisters. She was like, what? No, he don't. She was like, he has indeed two brothers. That's it. He has an older brother, and then he has a twin. A twin. So I don't remember exactly how they're doing it. He has an older brother. I think the older brother is maybe about 4 or 5 years older. And then he has a twin brother who is younger by 20 minutes. So she was like, a twin? Are you kidding me? She was like, yeah. She didn't even know the man had a twin brother. So she was like, yeah. And so she was like, as far as these sisters you're talking about, she's like, the one you talking about, she said, I don't know who that is. She said, I think that might be one of his girlfriends or something. I don't know who that is. But the other girl, when she gave the name of the girl, she said, that's my daughter, which is his cousin. She said, it's my daughter. I was like, wow. She was just so outdone. She was just floored at all the lies that was, you know, being revealed that he had told. So the girl was like, yeah, that's my daughter. The other lady you talking about, I don't know who that is. She said that might be the other wife. I think that was his other wife, the first wife. That's who he kept saying was his sister. She believes that was his first wife, the other wife, because they didn't even know he was married twice prior to her. They didn't know that because none of them mess with him because he's a liar and he's burned so many bridges. Now his oldest brother hadn't talked to him in years, and they were saying that when he don't even go over to the talk to the older brother or nothing like that, because the older brother made it known, if I see him, I'm gonna whoop his butt, which seems to be what everybody was saying. When we see him, we're gonna whoop his butt, because I thought I turned the damn thing off. In reality, I turned it up. No wonder. She said, they were like, no, when we see him, we're going to whoop his butt, because I guess he was lying and just doing unnecessary stuff, on people money, blah, blah, blah. So the girl was like, you know what? She said, I listened. She said he talked to his older brother every day. She was like, no, I don't know. No. And she was like, she said, how do you know this? She said, I'm hearing him every day. I'm there. He's talking to his brother on the phone. He's telling me his brother said, hey, how you doing? So on and so forth. So she's communicating with the brother through him as well. Like, say, like, I'm sitting right here on the couch and I pick up the phone and I call my sister. And she said his phone never rang. It was like always on vibrate. So, she said, he'd be sitting on the couch. Hey, how you doing? He said she said he faithfully spoke with his older brother every day, as well as while she would be in the, getting ready. She'd be like, oh, he said, hey. She said, oh, hey, Thomas, I said, how you doing? That type of thing, right? So far she knows it was the brother on the phone. He had full-blown conversations every morning with his brother. Then she said, she said, you know what I'm going to do? She said, I'm going to give, if it's all right with you, his older brother, your number, and have him call you, if that's okay. So that, she said, if anybody can answer any questions, it would be him. If anybody can make some things plain or clear for you, it would be him. So she was like, hey, I appreciate it, right? Now, mind you, she still had not yet. That was her next thing to do, was to see if he had a record, right? If he had spent any time in jail, That was her next thing. But before she got a chance to do that, I think it was the next day, the brother called. And so, she's talking to the brother. She said he was so nice and so kind and so generous and just polite and reassuring and saying, listen, when she told him the same things that she told the cousin, he was like, what? He was like, yes. He said, she said he told me that he had, two brothers, and then dad had, and then he had two brothers outside of, his dad had two more sons with someone else, and he has two sisters. He was like, he don't have no. She said, if you had hit away, the brother was talking, it was crazy. She said, he was like, no. He said, you mean to tell me he going around telling people that my dad had kids outside the marriage? He was like, no. So she actually physically met the two brothers. So she, hey, these are my brothers, And they were like, how you doing, sis? All this. So she physically met who he introduced as those two brothers. So it goes on to, the older brother was saying he lies so much, nobody wants to deal with him. He's burned bridges. Basically the same thing the cousin said. When she gave him the names of certain people, he was like, no. He was like, that one that he says is his sister is my cousin's daughter. When she found that out, she said, now that other one, I don't know who that is. That's probably, whoever, his girlfriend or something. So then he said, now as far as brothers, that's me, and I don't F with him, and this is why, and blah, 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 blah. She said the other brother is his twin brother, who's younger by 20 minutes. And she was like, I didn't even know he had a twin. He was like, so you didn't even meet nobody, you didn't bother to ask or try. He wasn't, being trying to be hard on her, but he was just saying, like, it didn't even dawn on you. She said it didn't dawn on me because I had no reason at that time to think that he would be lying about that. Plus, by her meeting two of the guys that he introduced as his brothers, she didn't, think nothing of it. And then she says, I spoke with, I'm listening to him talk to the sister every, often. We were supposed to go to her house for a barbecue, but on the way there, she called and canceled because something came up. Mind you, she didn't hear the phone ring. It was in his pocket. It was on vibrate. He just picked it up. Hey, we on the way. They had to cancel. So it was always something, she said, when it came down to actually meeting these people that he's communicating with over the phone. So then she said, and as far as the aunt, she goes, I met the aunt. I not only spoke with her, but I actually physically met her. He said, what aunt? And so when she gave the name, she said, that's not his aunt. She said, that's my mom's best friend before my mom passed away. That was my mother's best friend. She just, helps look out for him, I guess. But that's not his aunt. That's my mom's best friend. She's like, oh, my God. This man told me that was his aunt. I guess, sometimes people be in your lives, you say aunt or whatever. But he said, no, that's not our aunt. So then he went on to say, she went on to talk about, share with him that, he said that, his grandma passed away. He said, yes, our grandmother did pass away. He said, well, he told me that your grandmother passed away from COVID in 2022, and he took me to the gravesite. He was like, what? He was like, our grandmother passed away in 2008. Same thing the cousin said. And then he said, our uncle, or was it the grandfather? I think it was the uncle. He passed away as well. And he told them that he passed away from COVID as well in 2022. And they were like, he passed away in 2017. They like, what? And so she said, he even took me to the grave. And she said, what grave? What plot? He was like, that's where he used to work. And it turns out the plot that he took her to, saying that it was his grandparents, it was not his grandparents. It just happened to be some people with the same last name. Okay, so she's like, his brother was like, wow. So, he said, what else did he tell you? So he was like, he told me that he works for this big company and stuff. He was a vice president, a VP, and he was like, no, that's what his twin brother does. So basically what he did was he took on the identity. Everything he was telling her was everything that his twin brother actually does for real. So it was like he was pretending, he was like living his twin brother's life with her. His twin brother is the one that's the VP and with this company and so on and so forth. She was like, oh my God, everything he said was a lie. Everything, everybody, he was while he was with her, he was texting this prostitute, going by her house. She had moved, so she's looking at, because when she kicked him out, he left all his stuff. He left the work phone. So she's going through this phone and she's looking at all these messages and she's reading the threads back, far back from when they was together. And he's meeting up with this lady in front of her house, $40 for blowjobs, with or without condom, hand job, all this kind of stuff going on. And she said when she went to the doctor was asking her, have you been with anybody who's been with? And she's like, oh my God. She's like, thank God she didn't have a disease or something messing around with him. And so she just was like, it was just hitting the fan. All the things that he had lied about, it was just she's now finally speaking to the real people, the real family. And she's like, wow. So the brother was like, no. She was like, he said, you dodged a bullet. You did what you, she said, thank God you did what you did when you did it. He said, thank God you didn't have no kids with this man. She was like, I was pregnant by him. She said, but I had a miscarriage. Right? So after conversating with, he said, did you run his police record yet? Or something. He asked her about police. She said, no, not yet. He says, well, I would suggest you do, because he does have a record. She's like, oh my God. He says, I'm going to leave it at that. Do your homework. I'm going to leave you with some homework. Look him up. And so she, was very grateful for speaking to her, calling her, blah, blah, blah. So then the aunt calls. And the aunt was like, what's going on? Because, now he wants to come stay with me. He's saying that you put him out, that you did this, that. And the aunt was on the phone while she was telling him to get out and everything. The aunt was telling him, come stay with, come over here to me. So anyway, when he gets there, he's telling her all this stuff, and the aunt is like, what? So the aunt called her and was like, what's going on, honey? And she was like, explaining to her everything that was going on. And so the aunt said, well, where's the baby? How's the baby? She said, what baby? She said, he said that you gave birth to a son. She said, what? She said, I had a miscarriage. She says, oh my God. She said, they told me that you had the baby. She says, I've been asking him, bring the baby, so we can see the baby, so we can give you guys gifts and things. She said, we've been sending money, gifts, everything. She said, I've been telling him to bring you by to visit with the baby so we can see the baby. And every time it was something. There was always an excuse. It was always something. And then that's what it was. That's why the aunt called. Because he had told the aunt that she had been cheating, and that he was taking the baby from her. Him and the baby was leaving. And I guess that's when she came home and got all pissed off or whatever in the process of him trying to leave with the baby, and ended up putting him out. So she was like, what? She was like, I had a miscarriage. She says, I never had the baby. I had to have surgery and everything. Like, she was like, I don't understand. They were like, she says, not only did he tell me this, but it's other people in the family that he told this to, that's been sending gifts and money and everything. She's like, wow, I never had the baby. And she's like, I'm so sorry that he lied and told you these things. So she was like, but it's up to you, but I wouldn't have him come to my house. So the aunt was just like, wow, like she was really, dumbfounded about all this. She's thinking there's a baby, this, that, and the other. She's thinking the girl's receiving the monies and the gifts and the this and that, nothing. So she's done on the phone with her. She then does the police report thing, and yes, he had been in. And the reason why she was going to do the police thing was because when she was going through the stuff, there were weekend receipts or something for jail, and she was like, why would he have something like this? And it done unless he'd been in jail. So she's like, oh my God. So that's when, like I said, when he left, she was able to go through a lot of things to get his stuff together, because it was her in her mind to put all his things in one room so that he can come get them. So she looked up all this stuff about him, so on and so forth. And me, in the meantime, like she said, he has no idea that she's been talking to these people, that these people have been calling her. His family has been calling her, and that she's aware of everything. He has no idea. He has been calling her and communicating with her, and she's been trying to keep it mutual so that he, because they filed the divorce papers and things, and she didn't want him to pull a fast one on her. So she was trying to keep it mutual, kind, nice, until that 30 days when that divorce goes through. So she said all of a sudden he disappears for, I think, maybe 2 weeks. And she said she began to worry because of his health and the fact that she knew he was living in that car. And so she was like, something must have happened. And when she was calling around trying to find out, hey, have you guys seen? Nobody gave a crap. They was like, nope, when I do see him, I'm whoop his butt. And she was like, oh my God. She said she felt kind of bad. Like she said, this man has no friends. He's burned bridges. He has no family. Everybody I've called to check and see if he's all right, they didn't know it. They didn't care. And if they all said the same thing. If I see him, I'm whoop his butt. So she ended up calling the two guys that she actually physically met, that he introduced her to as brothers, and to see if they, and it was like, nope. And if I see him, I'm gonna whoop his blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh my God, like, he was like, look. She's like, but y'all brothers. She's like, we're like brothers. That's not my brother. We're like brothers. She says, wow. She said, this man told me y'all were brothers and, you know, different mothers but the same father. They were like, no. And everybody was like, no, he's a liar. He always lying. So everybody just was tired of it. So when she finally found out where he was, he had checked himself into some sort of like a clinic, rehab or something like that. Not that he was on drugs or anything. He did it because he didn't have anywhere to go, and he wanted to have free room and board and food for at least the 2 weeks or whatever that he was allowed to stay there. She was like, wow. I understood that in a way. To be honest with you, the man didn't have nowhere to go. He's sick, has no money, burned all his bridges. Okay, let me go sign myself into something somewhere and get some help for 2 weeks. And so when he came out of there, she was talking to him. I think right before he came out, I forget, but what did she? Oh, she asked him. She said, "You know what?" She said, "You never loved me. You never loved me, did you?" No, she asked him, "Why did you marry me?" That's what it was. Why did you even marry me? He said, "I had to." She's like, what are you talking about? He said, "I had to." He said, "Because when I looked at you, when I met you that first time," he said, "I knew there was no way you were going to stick around unless I did." Wow. She was like, wow. So I think maybe a week goes by. She, you know, when she put him out, she immediately changed her locks and everything. She got permission from the landlord. She changed the locks and everything. Her garage, everything. She changed everything. She changed the codes, everything. He had no access to nothing. So he then calls her when he got out of the place that he was in. He told her, "I'm on my way home." He said, "I'm ready to come home." She was like, "What? You're not allowed here. Do not come here. You will not be welcome here." And he told her, he said, "We're married. You can't put me out. You cannot. You have no right to put me out." And so whoever he was talking to in there told her that. And they're right. That's like joint. You know, they got married. That's his home too, and he had been paying bills and things, right? And so technically, that is 100% correct. So she calls the police department. She calls and speaks to some people that she knew, and they told her, yeah. When she called the police department, they told her, "Well, ma'am," he said, "unfortunately, he's correct. He lives there too. He's your husband. He got married." He said, "You can't technically put him out. That's his home." They said they said you have, like, I think it was 3 options. One would be get yourself, because she was already in the process of getting ready to move. She just had to wait for 2 weeks, and she wasn't sure when he was going to pop up. But she had 2 more weeks before she was leaving that place. New job, everything. And so she was calling the place to see if she could move in sooner, this, that, and the other, but she couldn't. All these type of situations and scenarios, nothing worked. So she told him, she was like, "Listen, if he comes here," she said, "I will shut off everything. Everything that's in my name will get shut and turned off." Right? And so that was what she was going to do. When I leave there, I will get everything turned off. He going to sit in here. He's sitting here in the dark, whatever, till they put him out, whatever. And so one of her friends who works at the police station called her back. He said, "You know what? We ran him in the system. He has a warrant." So they said, if he comes there, be nice, be this, be that, give us a call, we'll come get him. He has a warrant out for his arrest because of a parole violation or something. So she was like, okay. So she wasn't at work this particular day. I forget what she went to do this day, but her job called her and it was like, listen, I guess he kept no. This is after the fact. She was at work, but he had called and told her, I'm here. So he was there and he can't get in and everything because, she changed codes, locks, everything. So he's sitting on the side of the garage. His car is parked on the side of the garage. I guess he had to pee, so he goes to the grocery store down the street or somewhere to use the bathroom. And she didn't know that because she said when she called the police and told them he's there now, they said, well, we don't see him. And she says, oh, he must have had to use the bathroom or something and left. Y'all, I'm so sorry. So she was in a different car, right? He didn't know that she was in a different car. So he's sitting there waiting at this point because by the time she get there, he's back. And so he didn't see her because he's expecting a little Toyota or whatever, but she's in a different vehicle, so he didn't see her. So she drove right by and she turned around. She called the police and let them know. And so she waited till they got there. She didn't even, nothing. So when the police got there, he gets out so he could see what's going on or whatever, and they came to get him. So, they was like, are you such and such? He was like, yeah. They was like, well, we have a warrant for your arrest for parole violation or something violation. And so, they handcuffed him, put him in the back of the car. And so then that's when she got out the car. And the female cop was like, he's asking to speak to you. And so, did you want to speak to him? She's like, sure. So she went to the window. The police, the female cop was right there with her. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted my stuff. She was like, what stuff? He was like, my TV. She said, the stuff that you gave me? She was like, that's not yours anymore. That's mine. And she said, she was like, there's nothing here anyway. Nothing. He was like, I'm so sorry. She said, now you sorry? She's like, after everything that you've done, she said, I am over it. I'm done. I don't want you here. I don't want to ever see you again. Don't contact me again. He was like, I won't. I'm sorry. So then the female cop came over to her, and she's, because, the female cop has the body cam on. She was like, did you get all that? And the female cop was like, yeah. She was like, well, I had to say, she said, judging by how he's acting and what's going on with him right now, looking at him in the back of the car, what he's doing and saying, she said he's definitely having some sort of mental breakdown or something's going on. You can see that. You can hear that. And so he ended up going to jail. But it turns out that I think he was in jail for maybe a couple of days. It turned out that the warrant had expired. So her mom was following the case on Zoom or something. And so she was like, she called them and she's like, so he's going to be let out free? And they were like, yeah. So, it expired. So that means he's coming back to her. And so now she's like kind of freaking out. She's kind of panicking. Because when the police came and they arrested him, his car was left in the driveway. No keys, no nothing. So she called. He hadn't been making payments on the car, whatever. And so she called them. She was like, look, can you, they were like, are you going to make payments? She said, no, come get it. They were like, okay, we'll have someone out there to get it in the morning. So all the clothes and things that he had to his name that he took with him was in the car. They took the car. So therefore, everything that he owned was in the car. So she's thinking, okay, this man is going to come back. He's going to, be angry. He's going to probably retaliate or do something to her. So now she's kind of freaking out. She don't know what to do when, she's calling around, like when he gets out, da-da-da-da. So that same day, she goes out and she checks the mail. The divorce was in the mail. The papers was in the mail, finalized. They are divorced, so now legally he can't be in that house. She was like, thank you, Jesus. So when he gets out, he can't come back there because legally they are now divorced. And in that divorce agreement that he signed, he gave her back her house. Like he left with nothing. He left with what he came with. So when he got out, he had been calling around, trying to reach her, calling this one, having this person reach her, this. She just wasn't responding, wasn't picking up, wasn't answering. She canceled this account, that account. So he ended up calling her job. So people at her job were calling her, telling her, look, he's calling, looking for you, So she, one of the young lady that picked her up when she had a miscarriage, but she had to go and have a DNR, I think what you call it, a flush out or something, I forget, because they had to take a pill because everything wasn't flushed or whatever. So she ended up having to go in and do surgery to get it flushed out. He was supposed to come and he was supposed to take her. He didn't. The girlfriend did. He was supposed to pick her up. He was 3 hours late. Just a whole bunch of mess. But anyway, that same young lady told her, this is what you're going to tell him right now. Text it out. And she said, you're going to text it because it's in real time and you have proof of it. And so she texted him and told him, we are legally divorced now. Here's a copy of the paperwork. You are not allowed to come back here. If you do, you're going to jail. He stopped. She had heard from him since. He stopped contacting her, reaching out, everything. Y'all. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pop this in the microwave right quick because I just sit here and let it get cold. The ice can probably melted in my nice cold drink. But man, she was like, technically I really didn't know this man. She says, my fault. She said, you're moving entirely too fast. She said, and she said, when you have, she said, there was nothing about this man that told her that, she had to worry or be concerned and this, that, and the other, or that he was lying. Here we had somebody come in, they paying the bills, they doing this, they taking over this, they doing that, trying to get a home, and just all the positive, wonderful things that he was doing. It just never dawned on her that this man was a psycho. Man, when I tell you, you really have to be careful. Oh, that's what I really originally was getting up for. I forgot my phone. It's like, you don't want to date nobody. If you're single, you're going to stay single because you just don't know who you messing with out there. They may start off nice, fine, and dandy for a good 6 months to a year, and the next thing you know, you're dealing with somebody, like you said, Legion. But it's so scary. It really is. It really is. Like, I'm good. I'm good. If it ain't somebody that I know that the Lord has sent to me, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm content. I'm alright. And that's for real. I'm good. I'm not. If I got time for that. Life is too short. There's too much going on. No, I mean, it was a blessing that it could have went so many, all kind of other ways negative, left. Anyway, guys, I thought I would share that with you because I was just like, wow. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys. Tomorrow, be it the Lord's will. It's 7:17. I'm going to watch a little TV while I eat my food. And then I'm going to bed because I am really tired. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Remember to say your prayers. Remember to treat people the way God would treat people. The way God does and the way you would want to be treated. But more so the way God. Because a lot of us don't even treat ourselves right. And expect great things, guys. expect great things to happen to us, through us, and for us. When I say us, I mean, I'm saying us because not just for me, not just for my family, but for all my brothers and sisters in Christ. Y'all know I say the same thing all the time, and I mean it. So enjoy your night, sleep well, work well, rest well. My prayers go out to each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.